We're here to protect you and the ones that you love. It's a good feeling to know that our efforts aren't going unnoticed.
It actually brought tears to my eyes to know that we have this support.
You're welcome. I must just say, you're welcome. It's stressful, but we're not going anywhere.
Welcome to another edition of Bucknell Women's Track and Field Through the Decades. Tonight we have the decade of the 2000s, and we have some incredible former Bucknell women's track and field athletes joining head coach Kevin Donner and one of our current student athletes, G. Mccombs. G is a junior from Sparta, New Jersey. She does the hurdles, sprints, jumps, a little bit of everything for the Bison, and we're really excited to have her on the call tonight. My name is Todd Newcomb, and I want to thank Geisinger for sponsoring tonight's event. Geisinger has done a great job throughout the pandemic, and as always, they do a super job with our athletes at Bucknell day in and day out. So thank you to Geisinger. I'm going to introduce our alums, and we've got a great group, as I mentioned, and I'm going to introduce the ladies with their maiden name. It's probably the name that you're most familiar with as a Bucknell fan. I'm going to start with Stephanie Bango from the class of 2002. And you guys are going to have to bear with me a second because it's going to take me a little bit to get through all the accolades of this group. They're outstanding. So Stephanie, she's among the Bucknell all-time outdoor top 10 list. She still ranks third in the 800 and fifth in the 400. She's also among the top 10 as part of 4 different relays outdoors. She was an 8-time Patriot League champion outdoors, including 4 times as part of the 4x800 relay and 3 times in the 800. She was a 4-time All Patriot League selection outdoors. She was All East outdoors as part of the 2001 4x800 relay. 19 years after graduation, she still holds the school indoor record in the 800. She's ranked 5th in the 400, 8th in the 500, and among the top 10 in 3 different relays. She was a 13-time Patriot League champion indoors, including 4 times in both the 800 and as part of the 4x800, and 3 times as part of the 4x400. She was a 4-time All Patriot League selection indoors, as well as a track athlete of the meet at the 2001 Patriot League championships. She was a 5-time All East performer indoors. She was selected as a member of the Patriot League's All-Decade team. She was an academic All-District second team selection in 2002, and she won the Christy Mathewson Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner. Stephanie was inducted into the Bucknell Athletics Hall of Fame as a first ballot inductee in 2012. Our next guest from the class of 2004 is Maria Garcia. She's the top hammer thrower in school history, still holds the school record in the event today. She competed at the 2004 NCAA championships, finishing 20th at the event. She was a 2-time NCAA regional qualifier. She won the Patriot League hammer title for 4 straight years. She was a 4-time Patriot League All-League honoree and a 3-time All-East selection. She was named the Patriot League Field Athlete of the Meet at the 2004 championships. And indoors, she was named All-Patriot League in 2003 and still ranks 8th on the Bucknell all-time top 10 list in the 20-pound weight. She won the Lee S. Bud Rank Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner, and Maria was inducted into the Bucknell Athletics Hall of Fame in 2017. Our next guest from the class of 2005, Rihanna Lanewalla. I love saying your name. Class of 2005, among the Bucknell all-time top 10 outdoor. She still ranks 9th in the 400 and 10th in the 200. She's also among the top 10 as a member of the 4x200, 4x400, and sprint medley relay units. She was an All Patriot League selection outdoors in both 2002 and 2003. Among the Bucknell all-time indoor top 10 list, she still ranks 10th in the 200 and is 3rd as a member of both the distance medley relay and sprint medley relay units. She captured Patriot League titles indoors in the 200 and as a member of the 4x400 relay in 2002. She was an All Patriot League selection indoors in that year as well, 2002. Our guest from the class of 2007 is Mel Putsco. She's Bucknell's all-time greatest pole vaulter. She holds the outdoor school record by nearly a full foot. She competed at the 2004 NCAA Outdoor Championships, finishing 11th in the event. She was a 4-time NCAA regional qualifier outdoors. She won the Patriot League outdoor title in 2005 and 2006. and was an All-Patriot League first team outdoor selection twice and a second team choice twice. She was a two-time All-East outdoor honoree and the 2004 ECAC champion in the event. Indoors, she holds the school record in the event by nearly 14 inches. Also fourth on the school's top 10 list in the 60-meter hurdles. She competed at the 2005 NCAA Indoor Championships, finishing 14th. She won the Patriot League Indoor title 3 times and was the Patriot League champion in the 60-meter hurdles in 2004. She was a 3-time All-Patriot League first team indoor selection and a second team honoree once. She was All-East indoors all 4 years and captured the ECAC title in 2005. She was the Patriot League Indoor Track and Field Scholar Athlete of the Year in both 2005 and 2006. She was a 2-time Academic All-District selection and was a National Academic All-American third-team honoree in 2007. She won the Christy Mathewson Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner, and she was a first ballot inductee into the Bucknell Athletics Hall of Fame in 2017. Our next guest from the class of 2007 is Krista Sacco. Among the Bucknell all-time outdoor top 10 list, she still ranks second in the 800 and fourth in the 1500, and is also among the top 3 as a member of the 4x8 and distance medley relay units. She was a 3-time NCAA regional qualifier outdoors, including twice in the 800. She was a 7-time Patriot League outdoor champion, including 3 times each in the 800 and as a member of the 4x8 relay. She earned 6 All-Patriot League citations outdoors, 3 first team and 3 second team. She was a 4-time All-East selection outdoors and captured the ECAC title as part of the 4x800 relay unit in 2005. Krista is among the Bucknell all-time indoor top 10 list. She still ranks second in the 800 and is 9th in both the 1,000 and the mile run. She's also among the top 6 in the 4x8 distance medley and sprint medley relays on the Bucknell charts. She was a 7-time Patriot League champion indoors, including twice each in the 800, 1,000, and as a member of the 4x800 relay. She was named the track athlete of the meet at the 2006 Patriot League Indoor Championships. She was a 4-time All-East selection indoors, was an academic all-district first team selection in 2007, and she won the Bradley N. Tufts Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner. All right, got you there. And then Amy Mantos, class of 2010, among the Bucknell all-time outdoor top 10 list. She still ranks second in the high jump, 5th in the triple jump, and 6th in the heptathlon. She was a 2-time NCAA regional qualifier outdoors in the high jump. She was a 4-time Patriot League champion outdoors, including twice in the high jump and once each in the triple jump and long jump. She earned 5 All-Patriot League citations outdoors, 3 first team and 2 second team. She was named the field athlete of the meet at the 2009 Patriot League Outdoor Championships. She remains the school record holder of the indoor high jump and ranks 3rd in the pentathlon and 9th in the triple jump. She was a 3-time Patriot League champion indoors, including twice in the high jump and once in the pentathlon. She earned 3 All-Patriot League citations indoors, including 2 first-team honors. She was named the field athlete of the meet at the 2010 Patriot League Indoor Championships. She was an All-East selection in 2010, and she won the Brian Humphreys Award at the Athletic Department Senior Awards Dinner. So, Coach, I should mention Krista Sacco going into the Hall of Fame as well. An outstanding class. Congratulations to all of them, and let's have some fun. I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thanks, Todd. Do we actually have any time left here? That took forever, all those accolades. So, but that's great. First of all, ladies, welcome. I was looking forward to this one probably the most for obvious reasons. First of all, some of you were on literally my very first team at Bucknell. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And also many of you were in my very first or second recruiting class. And then, it was just a really neat decade of a lot of championships, a lot of good stuff. So let's get this thing rolling. We'll start with some questions, and we'll start with Mel there. Before we begin sharing some memories, tell us what you've been up to since graduation as far as employment, family situation, things like that. So, Melanie?
Seems like it's been a long time now. since I've graduated, I moved to Philly right after college. I work in construction management. So I worked for a company out there for 4 years. And then Matt Lincoln, my now husband, he moved out to Arizona to train. He ran competitively post-collegiately for Canada. And so we moved out here, got engaged, got married, ended up staying out here. We've been here for 10 years now in Arizona. We're in Tempe now, so just outside Phoenix. Still in construction management, just with a different company. So I work in our pre-construction group right now, working on getting new projects and then hiring like the subcontractors and working the budgets and estimates and whatnot. But we now have 2 girls, Hadley, she's 3.5 almost, and McKenna, who's 1.5. So we've been really busy with them, especially this last year with the pandemic. It's been quite a challenge with 2 little ones that small with no family around to help. But we love it out here. The weather's amazing. It was like almost 80 today. Sorry for you guys, Becky's, but
It was a balmy 44.
oh, that's much warmer. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, thanks, Mel. And
Yeah.
remember about 3 or 4 years ago, we brought about 10 athletes to Arizona State for a track meet, and Mel and Matt hosted them for a nice dinner the day before. So,
Yeah, that was so nice to see everyone. Got to see Amy.
yeah, Amy was on my staff at the time, so
Yep.
that was neat. So, Rainey, I think you're out in Seattle, right?
Yeah, I'm in Seattle. I've been in Seattle since 2006. So yeah, I live here. I was just looking to move far away from the East Coast and just try something different. So I ended up coming out to grad school out here and then just never left. So I work in the nonprofit sector. I'm the development director at a local nonprofit here. So I manage all of the fundraising and marketing for this organization. And I'm married, so my husband Nick is a cook. We have a 8-year-old stepkid, and just are really loving living out here. Not quite 80 degrees, Mel, but there is actually lots of greenery and mountains and beautiful water. So we love it.
And you'll be proud to know that my top female cross-country runner is from Seattle, Ashlyn Ramos, and we recently got a commitment from a boy from Seattle, another distance runner, same Max Laguna. So that's turning into a prime time area for recruiting. So
sure is.
Yep.
You'll have to take more post-COVID, more trips out to visit.
Yeah, we'll have to go to the UW Invitational or something like that. So, all right, next let's go Stephanie Bango there. Tell us what you've been doing.
Hey, Donna, I have to say, are you feeling pretty good about yourself listening to all those accolades? You should be over there doing a little bit of this, huh?
Whoa, that was you guys, not me. I was
like, wow, it's like one after another. It's awesome. I love it. I was like, Ray Bucknell. Yeah. So after Bucknell, so I went into teaching, did that for 10 years in Virginia. Wanted to get my master's degree. So I got my master's at George Mason in curriculum and development. And then I had 2 little boys. I have one 9-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they're awesome and they're really fast and they're going to come run at Bucknell, FYI. So stick around. But I actually started my own.
80 years old.
Yeah, I know, right? So you can do it. Started my own business, actually. I'm a certified functional health coach. So I have my own business. I work with a lot of women who have autoimmune conditions, but now I'm also moving into the field of instructional design and e-learning. So I'm utilizing that master's degree, and I'm actually in the process of interviewing for instructional design jobs. So I've got a lot going on. I homeschool my kids. Pre-pandemic, I was homeschooling my kids, and I'm remote, they're remote. And the idea behind that is just to be able to travel whenever we want. And we're huge nature lovers. So we do a lot of national park visits and stuff like that. So I like the flexibility of it. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it, but also, make sure that, I'm providing for them. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, but that was like 20 years all crammed into like, 30 seconds. So
Sure.
that's the gist of it.
All right, all right. And Amy Mantus, I kind of know your story, but why don't you tell everybody else here?
Yeah, you're a part of my story a couple times, right? Yeah, after Bucknell, I went right into coaching track and field, actually. Couldn't let it go. So worked at a couple different places, ended up at Bucknell prior to where I am right now. Was working out there for 3 years. And I just moved to Allentown about 3 years ago. Just got married as well, right before the pandemic hit. So we were lucky. And yeah, just bought a house and kind of just, trying to figure out what the next couple steps are. So yeah, trying to get through this pandemic with our own team as well. So I kind of know what you're going through, Coach Donner. But everyone has its challenges, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amy's at Kutztown, right? That's where you're at. So
Yep.
now,
Yeah.
but she was on my staff for 3 years, coaching multis and jumpers. Did an outstanding job. Outstanding job.
Thanks.
And last but not least, Krista Sacco. Tell us what you're up to.
Hi, so I live in DC. I've been here about 10 years. I came back from the Peace Corps in 2009. I came here for grad school in 2010. I've been here ever since. I work at the State Department now. Yeah, that's it. I was supposed to get married last May, but that got postponed. So maybe this summer, I don't know, we'll get married. And in the meantime, we just bought a house and been having a lot of house projects. That's about it.
All right. And congratulations. You were inducted to the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, we haven't had an induction ceremony yet.
Yeah.
By the way, you guys remember Teresa Dennis also. She is inducted in the same class with Krista Sacco here. So that was kind of exciting. So, all right, let's go back to Mel. Take us back to the beginning and tell us how you ended up at Bucknell and why. Melanie?
I think you skip Maria though.
Oh, did I skip Maria?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Maria. I didn't see on the screen.
Okay.
Where is she? Okay. Oh, yeah.
Right in the middle.
All right. Well, she's on my end. I had a miss. Maria, tell us what you've been up to since Bucknell.
So I ended up moving to North Carolina to train. My hope was to compete at the 2008 Olympics since I was not able to attend the 2004. And so just fell in love with the warmer weather and decided to make it my home. And then met my husband here. Have 4 children. My third pregnancy is twins. I had twins. And I currently work for the North Carolina Attorney General's office. I've been with them for the past 10 years. And I just really love North Carolina and enjoying my kids and my family, and all is going well.
What part of North Carolina are you in?
Wake Forest.
City?
Wake
Oh,
Forest.
okay. Gotcha.
Mhm.
All right, nice. We'll have to find some meets down there.
Yes.
All right, let's go back to Mel and take us back to the beginning and tell us about the recruiting process. How you ended up at Bucknell, Mel.
I actually think I reached out to Bucknell first, if I can remember correctly. I was just looking at schools. I knew I wanted to do engineering, wanted to try to do track as well. I had done gymnastics all the way up through 11th grade. And so it was really hard trying to balance both gymnastics and track. So I really didn't have like the performances through my junior year where, colleges were going to be calling me all over. So once I quit gymnastics, I improved by 3 feet that year. I improved like a foot indoors and then 2 more feet outdoors. So then people kind of started looking at me a little bit more. But I was just all over the place in schools. I didn't know what I wanted. I had narrowed it down to Pitt because I'm from just north of Pittsburgh. and then Bucknell, which are two very totally different places, and had no clue what I wanted. But when I went to go visit Bucknell, I just knew it was the place for me. I just loved the atmosphere and the people, the team, and everyone just made me feel so welcome, right from the beginning. So just that visit sold it for me, and I was like, man, I'm going there. And it was just a really good balance for me, because I wanted that academics to be important, but also got to have that Division I competition opportunity as well. So it was just a really good fit for me.
Great. And Rainey, how'd you end up here?
Yeah, I think it was somewhat similar to Mel in that, I think my times were mediocre until my senior year. So I ended up reaching out to Bucknell first, just to express interest. My Bucknell actually run my family. So my uncle attended Bucknell, I think late 70s, early 80s. And he actually ran track under Art Goulden for 1 year. And then he only did 1 year, but I know he speaks so fondly of his time on the team and his time at Bucknell. And then my older brother, who's a year older than me, also went to Bucknell. So when it came time to look at schools, it was something that really came, it was always on my mind. And then I think like Mel, I was really looking to do a Division I program, but also what was important to me was to go to a good school, a good academic school, a place where I could be a student first, but also still be part of a great competitive, high quality team.
Right. And Krista Sacco, how about you? What was your story?
So similarly, I also had mediocre times until my senior year. I come from a rural town in Pennsylvania, Montoursville, and there wasn't a lot of, it took me a while to figure out what my area was where I would thrive the best. So I was a hurdler actually in high school. And then it wasn't until senior year that I really got into running the 800, and then in college even more so. And so I joined, I wasn't even on cross country until my senior year of high school, and my cross country coach encouraged me to quit the soccer team and join her on the cross country team. And she also encouraged me to go to some kind of sprinting seminar at Bucknell because she knew I wanted to go to Bucknell. And so I just showed up, and I met the coaches, I met Coach Klim, and I introduced myself, and just went from there.
All right, excellent. Our game. So, all right, Steph Bango, tell us your story.
Well, I originally gave my verbal commitment to Penn State. I don't know, actually, Todd, when did you start at Bucknell? Because I don't know if you even know this.
I started at Bucknell in 1999.
So you don't know this. Okay, so I gave my verbal commitment to Penn State, and I had been talking to Stanford and Purdue and Maryland pretty seriously. And I had heard a little bit from Coach Goulden, but he was dragging his feet. And Penn State kind of swoops in, and they gave me this package offer. And I was like, okay, well, Bucknell's not interested, whatever. So I verbally accepted from the women's head coach, Terry Jordan.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. That's her. Yep.
So she calls him up bragging. She's like, I hope she's not watching this, but she calls him up bragging, and she's like, I snagged one of your recruits. And apparently
you don't do that.
it was legit. No. So he finds out that I gave my verbal to Penn State, and he drives the 3.5 hours to my parents' house, and he shows up, and he's like, look, I've got a better deal for you. So he basically gives me this package that I can't refuse. Right. And I hadn't even done a recruiting trip at Bucknell at this point. So he gives me an offer. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. This is kind of, what I was hoping you would have done a long time ago. Akron was another one that had given me a package. But then I went to my recruiting trip at Bucknell, and like everyone else is saying, I totally fell in love with the place. It's like one of those, it's that feeling like you just know you're supposed to be there. And Bucknell felt like home. I mean, it felt amazing. And I had visited a lot of other campuses as well, the ones that I had mentioned, a few of them. And there was just something about Bucknell, and there was something about, the team, even coming in and meeting this team as a recruit, it just felt right. So I signed with Bucknell. And then I had to call Terry Jordan and tell her that I was like going back on my verbal. That was like one of the scariest moments in my entire life. It was not a good call, but in the end, I'm like glad I did it, and it all worked out for the best. But yeah, it was a little bit of a bumpy ride. Like it was like, okay, I wanted Bucknell to like be interested, but Coach Goulden was dragging his feet a little bit, but then he came around in the end. So it all worked out.
Awesome. We get those decommits all the time. So
do you?
Oh yeah. Everyone gets a decommit every now and then. So. And at least
I felt really, really bad. I was like, oh my gosh.
At least you called her. So
I did.
Yeah, at least sometimes they don't even do that. So, and Maria, how'd you end up at Bucknell?
So I'm sorry about that. I had some issues there on muting. So I received a call from Coach Weiser, who was coaching at that time. And I didn't really know much about Bucknell. I did know that I did want to get away from Rhode Island. I didn't want to go to Brown University, which is where I trained. I was recruited by a lot of the Ivy Leagues, a lot of schools in New England. But I just wanted a change. And so when I spoke to Coach Weiser, he asked me if I wanted to come and take a look at the campus, talk to one of my teachers who coincidentally had a nephew that attended Bucknell. And he was he had heard great stories about the campus, and he volunteered to actually drive me to see the campus. And so I scheduled the visit. And I fell in love with the campus, the friendly atmosphere, the team spirit. But most importantly, after learning more about the program, the student-teacher ratio and just the commitment to the academic success of the students. Coach Goulden was very big about that. And I remember when I spoke to him during that visit, he was very committed to making sure that I not only excelled as an athlete, but also that I excelled academically and received all of the resources that I needed. And so it was a small campus, didn't want to feel like I was just going to be a number in college, a little intimidated by the experience. And so I decided to go early action with Bucknell, and it was one of the best decisions I made.
All right, great to hear. And we'll go with Amy now.
Thank you.
I don't know what I was thinking in high school, really. I didn't really pursue a lot of letters that I got in the mail, maybe only about 3 or so. And it's kind of weird. I only went on 2 college visits, and one was Bucknell and one was Kutztown, where I'm currently working. I was hurt in my junior year, so I also think I didn't get highly recruited because of that as well. But Coach Mario Wilson was really always on me. He was a really good recruiter, and it seemed like he really wanted me at Bucknell. And when I think by the time I actually already, like when I did my overnight and everything, I was already committed. I applied early decision, got in. It was the only place I applied. I only applied to Bucknell. I figured, hey, if I don't get in, I'll know in December and I could still apply to other places and go somewhere else. But I'm glad it definitely all worked out for sure.
All right, great. So it's amazing with all these Zoom meetings, so many people talk about the official visit is what did it. So many people said that they just fell in love with the campus and the school and the team, and they knew right then and there that that's where they wanted to go. Gianna, tell us your story. How'd you end up here?
Okay, well, actually, Amy was the one that, she was the one that got me here. So just like everyone else, I didn't really put up the marks junior year. It wasn't really till my senior year. But Amy reached out to me, I think, as a junior, and just like really showed a lot of interest. And I actually come from, I had 2 girls before me come to Bucknell. So when I was a senior, I was like, oh, I want to go out and do my own thing. And then like everyone, I came here and I fell in love with the place, and I fell in love with the team, and it was kind of unmatched. Like I didn't see any team bond like this anywhere else. So at that point, I was sold.
All right, great. And thank you, Amy, to this day. So, all right. Let's go to our most memorable experience as a member of the track and field team. And we'll start with Krista.
So in terms of competing, one memory that stands out to me is the first time I broke 209. It was the week after my grandmother had died. Sorry, that's a grim memory, but the weekend before I was supposed to run the mile, but I couldn't because I had to go to the funeral, and I had a week off. And I think that might have been why I PR'd that week, the following week. And but otherwise, for the most part, just the routine of my life when I was there with all of my teammates, all the girls that I ran the 800 with, everything from standing in the freezer pool to going to dinner together to going to the library together. It's all just kind of, and obviously track camp. I loved track camp because I didn't have to do school as well. But it was a really relaxing time. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we did not have a track and field preseason camp this year. So
yeah, sorry to rub that in.
yeah, that was tough, but at least we're back. But
yeah.
I know Gianna always liked track camp, didn't you, Gianna?
Oh, it's my favorite part of the year.
Oh yeah.
Especially without the school.
Yeah. So Melanie, your most memorable experience at Bucknell as a member of the team?
Like Krista mentioned, it's just all of the memories, the team bonding that we did. We just did so many activities to involve the team, outside of practice. They were like our family. But I guess competing wise, I'd have to say that just being part of a team, a class of 2007 who won all 4 years Patriot Leagues indoor and outdoor. I think that was pretty memorable and exciting to be part of that class, to contribute to that. And I think 2 of those years we had a triple crown as well. I don't know if I'm remembering. Yeah.
Class of 2007 won 4 indoor, 4 outdoor, and 2 cross country titles.
Yeah. So that
was just 12 they won.
Awesome to be, part of that team who was able to contribute to that. And then just individually, I think competing at the NCAA championships was definitely one of my most memorable. Just to be at that level, was kind of my big goal. So it was really fun to get to experience that.
Yep. I remember we took you and Maria, right? To Austin. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Speaking of Maria, let's go to Maria. Your most memorable time at Bucknell?
My most memorable time was my first year competing at the Patriot League Championship. And I don't know if you remember Rhonda. Well, you wouldn't remember because you weren't, but Rhonda. I think well, you might remember Mel. Well, no, not Mel either, actually. I'm sorry. I'm getting my times mixed up. But Stephanie, you might remember. Yes, Rhonda. You remember Rhonda from Lafayette University? She was, I think, undefeated hammer thrower. She had won the hammer throw 3 years consecutively, I believe it was. And my freshman year, I went to compete at that meet, and I remember Coach Golden pulled me to the side. And when Coach Golden was serious, and he looked me in the eyes and he said, "Maria, I need you to take that gold for us." And as a freshman, I really didn't think I could. But his words just kind of gave me that strength, and I went out there and I took the gold for us, and consecutively I took it for the whole 4 years throughout my college experience. So that was very memorable.
Well, can I say something? I remember this happening, and I had never watched anyone throw. It's like I had not a whole lot of interest in watching the throws until Maria came to town, and then I was watching, and I was like, "When's she throwing? When's she throwing?" Incredible. Like I remember watching you, just thinking, like my jaw dropped. I was like, I could not believe how good you were at throwing that stinking thing. And I watched you, and I was like, it just blew my mind what you were able to do. So yeah, I agree. It was pretty cool.
Well,
Thank you.
What's funny is I still say to this day that you're a great athlete when people stop what they're doing
and they go watch you.
And we come across those every now and then at Bucknell, where you get that special athlete, and when that guy or that lady is competing, you can just kind of watch the rest of the team kind of hover over there. Lenny Joseph, we had that with Chrissy Budzinski, and I know it was happening with Stephanie Bango and Krista Sacco here and Maria, where just that special athlete where everybody just kind of stops what they're doing, says, all right, Noelle Powell's up right now. Something special is going to happen, so that, and yeah, that when Stephanie said that, that's what it reminded me of. So, speaking of Stephanie, what's your most memorable time?
I don't have one. No, I'm kidding. The problem is that I have like a million. I could talk for like 3 hours, like all these little stories that are just so meaningful, or, with you or with Coach Goulden or the teammates or whatever. But, I mean, first, like when that question is first asked, like my mind kind of jumps to like the championships and the awards and the records and like all the big and flashy stuff, right? But I think the magic happens like in the in-between, like what the other girls were saying, like it's this day-to-day stuff. Like you're with this incredible group of women who are just there to do their best and like lift each other up. And that's really, really special when you have a group of women who can do that. So it was the in-between that was like the magic. But I also wanted to think like through like what are some of like the funny things, that I was like, being drawn to. I was looking through like old pictures trying to jog my memory, because I'm like, I texted Todd and I was like, like I need like some time here because I'm the old lady here. Like this happened a long time ago. I need to like jog some memories. And then now they like won't stop coming. But I remember my junior year, we were at Navy at the indoor championships. And actually, Todd, like when you were reading my intro, that's the one I got the MVP for. And Coach Goulden was sick. So Wally Dietrich was in as helping Coach Clem. And Coach, you weren't there yet. So I don't even know if you know this story, but I was supposed to go and I was supposed to run the 4x8, the 800 and the 4x4. And, I have my whole routine, when you start to warm up and you're like timing everything and you know when to eat, when to like all that stuff, right? Timing my warm up, and Wally comes over to me and he's like, you're running the 400 today. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not.
I've heard the story.
So because
they forgot to scratch you. They forgot to scratch coaches. So you had to run.
I had to run, but I had to run out of the slow heat because they didn't have seed time for me. Yeah, so it was actually the reverse. Like they didn't have a seed time for me. So I had to run in the slow heat. Well, there was like 3 or 4 heats of the 400, and they're like, okay, we're running you in the slowest heat because we don't have a seed time for you. But by the way, you need to win. And so like all of us know, like if you're running, you're going to run your best when you have someone like literally right here or right here or right here, like pushing you, like, I'm going to run this girl down, right? Well, I didn't have that. And I'm like looking at the time clock. I can remember I ran like a 57 point something. I think it was a 57 flat, and I won the 400 out of the slow heat. And it was like, okay, it's just like you're capable of doing great things when you really want to, even if you have to run against the clock out of the slow heat, and you're still expected to win at the Patriot League championships. And it was just like things like that, I feel like happened to me all the time. I don't know why, but that one in particular sticks out. So I just wanted to share like something specific because it's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, all right. Rainey.
Yeah, not to be too repetitive, but like everyone else has said, it's really hard to pick just one thing. There's just so much wonderful things from just the day-to-day, the little jokes and the fun stuff that happens. So yeah, I think just that camaraderie, that sense of having each other's backs was really, really wonderful. Because, we spent so much time with each other. I mean, just from, time spent in the trainers to warm up, to the team meeting, to the actual practice, to weight room after, and then we would all eat together in the caf. So, I mean, even on a non-competitive day, we were probably spending at least 4 hours together. So in terms of competing, though, individually, I think one of my best memories was my freshman year, winning the indoor 200 meters at the Patriot League Championships. Being a freshman, I didn't know what to expect. I certainly didn't think I would win. And I remember my college boyfriend at the time, he was warming up or cooling down after, and he was like, well, she's not going to win, it'll be fine, and came back and was like, wait, what, you won, really? But I'll just never forget how loud everybody was cheering me on, and just there's always that row of your teammates lining that last straightaway, just urging you on. But I would say probably the most memorable things were related to relays. Because you can probably tell if you look at my history, but I always did much better on a relay than I did individually because I was never going to let my teammates down. So, there was a lot of great ones with Steph. I remember freshman year, the ECAC championships. I think we broke the school record for the distance medley by like 15 seconds. And it was just things like that were really amazing experiences.
I remember that one. That was a big one. Kelly
Yeah.
McConnell was on that, wasn't she?
Yep.
That's who was
Yeah.
entered it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. All right. Let's go with Amy Mantus now.
Yeah, again, like everyone said, there's so many different memories. But I think probably, well, one of the biggest memories that I have is actually from indoor Patriot Leagues my freshman year. I've always liked indoor a lot better than outdoor. First, because I didn't have to deal with any of the rain or wind or anything like that. But also because, everyone is so close. There's so many people, around you and cheering you on. I think Coach Donner always says, it doesn't matter where we go. We're always at a home meet because we have more people, more fans, more orange everywhere. And this was definitely my first experience of that as a freshman. But I remember we were up at Army and I'm competing in the high jump. Mel's actually competing over in the pole vault. I remember Kyle Anthony over, it was either long jump or triple jump, all going on at the same time. And all three of us were just so successful within like 10 minutes, either winning or having a really big jump. And our whole team was just there, just totally, going crazy and being supportive. And it was just like my first time, like, wow, this is really something special, this team. And it carried throughout the whole 4 years. And I will like to say one other thing. My senior year, on the other hand of stuff, going out with not only a win at the outdoor Patriot Leagues with the women, but also the men too, because that was just, it was the first time they won in a really long time. So that's
my most memorable moment as a coach when it was a home 2010. The women won by a lot. And the men won that meet by 2 points. The first time we beat Army and Navy at the same meet. It was incredible. I'll never forget the downtown Lewisburg was crazy that night. There must have been about 300 alums there. And boy, oh boy. So it was good.
Yeah, no better way to cap off your career. So
that was a big one. All right. Well, I think our student athlete has a question here. And Gianna, it's all you.
So I was just wondering, what advice would you give to me or any of the other current athletes right now about college track and field?
You got to pick someone, G.
All right, I'm gonna go with Coach Mantus on this one.
I would just say don't take it for granted because, it was definitely, one of the best 4 years of my life and so many good memories. And when you go back to visit Bucknell, especially with friends, it's always fun to reminisce and know that you're part of, not only a successful team because we're always successful at women's track and field at Bucknell, but there's so many other alumni that are a part of that too. So don't take it for granted. That's for sure.
Stephanie?
Yeah, I mean, I'll piggyback on that. I would say the same exact thing. And you're part of something. You not just like in your 4 years that you're there, but you are part of something big. I mean, I think you guys said you've done 4 or 5 of these calls, right? Like through the decades, and you're part of that story. So I think it's just remember that you're, part of something really great that's happening now, it's happened in the past, it'll happen in the future. I think it's different now, like in the world of social media where you can, document everything and like journal it digitally. I didn't really have that when I was at Bucknell. Gosh, I'm old. But I really wish I would have like taken time to like write more, journal more, take more pictures, and then like write, things. I mean, I even, even when you have other coaches say things to you or other, people from other teams coming over you and saying things, I wish I would have like jotted those things down. So I would say like, if you're in it and you're living it in the moment, like do whatever you can to kind of capsule that, that would be the one thing that I would just, give as advice.
Thank you. I'll have to do that. Krista?
Yeah, similarly, I just wanted to say that the relationships and the bonds that you have with your teammates are unlike any other relationships you will ever develop anywhere else in your life. So embrace that, stay in touch with your teammates. And also don't underestimate the value of a little R&R. I'm sure in the pandemic you have a lot of that, which we all do. But just to avoid mental and physical burnout, rest and fun are just as important as constantly drilling yourself into the ground. That's all.
Maria?
I would have to also agree with everyone. I would say definitely enjoy the experience. Enjoy it as much as you can, because you may not get an opportunity in life to experience something similar to this.
Melanie?
Krista kind of stole what I was going to say, but work hard, do what you need to do to better yourself as an athlete, do those Sunday runs, get in those extra lifts, do all that stuff to make you that next level that you want to be, but also make sure that you take time to have fun, to hang out with friends, to do nothing. I sometimes think that my career athletically didn't end the way that I had wanted it to. And I think I ended up putting too much pressure on myself. So I would definitely, give the advice to not take it so seriously. Make sure that you're trying to find balance in everything. I guess that would be my advice.
Thank you. And Rihanna?
Yeah, you all just stole everything I was going to say. Just enjoy it. It goes by really fast. And I also wish, Steph, I had taken some time to really write things down and really remember some of the amazing things that happened. I think also just like Mel said, give yourself a break. Because I think we all put a lot of pressure on ourselves as athletes and as, people who are part of a team that we really care deeply about. So, just try and give yourself a break and, enjoy your college experience while you're also competing at the highest level and getting your schoolwork done. And then just, I just lean on your teammates and support each other, because those relationships that came out of being on the team for 4 years are some of the most wonderful relationships in my life. And we don't always necessarily stay in touch constantly, but when we do, when we connect back again, it's like no time has passed. I mean, these are people who knew you in your earliest years, so nurturing those relationships is really, really critical.
All right, back at you, Rainey. The athlete you admired the most during your time, and why?
It is so. These are all difficult questions to answer because do you have 30 minutes for me to rattle off 100 people?
No, we don't.
Yeah, exactly. I will say that probably one of the people I looked up to the most was actually Steph. And I know we only ran together for a year, but to come in as a freshman and, not know what to expect and trying to get used to being away from home for the first time and adjust to a team and, competing, because, college track is a different thing. There's a lot more, we're running a lot more, lifting a lot more weights, it was an adjustment. And to have somebody who was a senior, who was achieving at such a high level, who was so nice and so supportive of everyone and just really welcoming, and was a really amazing leader and team captain. That was everything. And then to also get to watch her run. When you were talking earlier, Coach Donner, about those people who you just stop and you can't help but watch them when they're competing. Steph was one of those people because she was just such a amazing, stellar athlete.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Maria, who did you admire the most and why?
I would have to say Latonya Mcswain. She was actually the person who I roomed with when I visited Bucknell for the first time. And I really admired her sportsmanship. She was very friendly with other teams and she was always very encouraging. And she was kind of like my pal throughout my years there while she was still an athlete there. And she was just very supportive and I admired her achievements. And yeah.
All right, great. Yeah, I had her for 1 year too. She was very good. And Krista, who did you admire the most? Why?
It doesn't feel fair to pick one person because everybody had a part of them that really impacted me and my life and my track career. I would always chase Amy Calvo during our workouts, and she would always make me sprint faster in the beginning because I always had trouble getting out fast. And Mo was always there, Monique Boley, now Monique Alexander. She made every day fun, and she was always providing advice, and she was always trying to convince me to go a little slower on the off days, which really helped actually, because they gave me more energy for my real workouts that are really important. And I remember Danielle Todman, the way that she just at track meets, the way that she just changed the environment and she got everyone doing the clap, and it just makes things that you'll never forget, that environment. But there's so many people to name, and it doesn't feel fair to only list a few people, but they're the first few that come to mind.
Yeah, Danielle was very enthusiastic, and I think the song she wrote, We Still Do, Gianna, how's that song go? I forget. We do it after every win or something like that. You guys remember it. Danielle Tonman wrote that. So she invented that song. Mel, who did you admire?
Like Krista, so many people. I'll just name a few off the top of my head, but Abby Bouzean Clusian, she was the senior vaulter whenever I was a freshman. She kind of took me under her wing, but was always just so positive and supportive. So I have to say, just at the beginning, she was just a great mentor. The other two are actually my year, Krista, Sacco, and Lauren Bricker. I just admired their ability to go and do any event that they were needed to do. Always, they were always willing to run for crazy hard events to do what the team needed, and I just admired that. I was a hurdler and a vaulter, and kind of stuck in those, and I just loved that they were so versatile and able to do whatever was needed from them.
Thank you.
Bricker would steeplechase and triple jump at the same.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
I don't never ever seen that in my 36 years of coaching. So.
Yeah.
All right, Amy, how about you? Who'd you admire?
Probably the whole senior class when I was a freshman. I again came into a really successful program and people who truly really worked hard, and every single day at practice was supporting each other, and really led me to do kind of the same thing. And also Chelsea Musante, she was my roommate freshman and sophomore year. She was a thrower and I was a jumper, but we really pushed each other to go work hard. And I always admired how, she was always probably the last one at practice working on, probably too many throws and, always in the weight room, working super hard. So a ton of people inspired me at Bucknell for sure.
Okay. And Stephanie?
Well, first of all, Rainey, that was so sweet. Thank you. I'm like getting all emotional over here. And then Krista's bringing up like Calvo and Mo. I was like, hey, those are my people too. Like, I love it. Like, even though they were younger and Rainey was part of that group, like younger than me, but gosh, I admired them. I always wanted more time with that group of girls. But coming in to Bucknell as a freshman, it was Yatunde. I was like, her, that's who I want to be. That's who I want to beat. That's who I want to, by my side. She was so graceful, determined. I don't know, just an awesome person to be around, an amazing captain. So right away, I was just like blown away by Yatunde.
She was on our call on Tuesday. She was on the call on Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So she was special. So I looked up to her, right away. And then, Connie Hamlin, she was the middle distance senior when Latonya and I came in as freshmen, and she really showed us the ropes. I mean, we would have been lost without her. So, I really admired her and looked up to her as a mentor because she taught us like everything we needed to know to be successful. And, the workouts got hard, she made them fun. And she really, helped us kind of just feel at home. And we had someone who was like, watching our backs as little freshmen, and it was cool. So I would say Connie too.
Awesome. All right, we'll throw the next question back to Gianna here.
So my next question is, what advice would you guys have about networking and finding jobs after Bucknell? Because I know that's kind of coming up for me soon, but a lot of us would like to know.
What are you studying?
I'm a bio major. So
I can say, like, as I'm in the field of education, but I'm also an entrepreneur. And I can say like just building connections with people and staying consistent in like networking groups, and it has been really beneficial. You can learn so much, you know, from other people, and you can get a lot of people who will, you know, recommend your, you know, services or whatever, resume or whatever it is. And that's made a huge difference in myself and owning my own business, is that connection piece and just being really authentic, and also giving before you get. So if you can go out of your way to like help other people connect, if you see like a common interest and you think, you know, hey, these people would be amazing together, they have a great connection, I think they can benefit one another, like go out of your way to do that, even if you don't get anything in return at the moment. So I would say like the relationships and connections would be like my first advice for you.
Thank you. And Krista, do you have any advice?
Yes. So when I was starting out, when I heard the word networking, I thought that meant going to big events and handing out a bunch of business cards. But in my experience, that never worked for me. And I don't know anyone for whom that has worked. What has worked for me, the only time that it's been successful for me is when I did it by accident, when I built a relationship with somebody and that person got to know me and they got to see that I was intellectually curious, or that I had certain skills, and they had confidence that I was a reliable person. Under that circumstance, they would recommend me for a job. But most of the time, it's not really necessarily networking the way I originally thought it was. It's actually just relationship building and never burning bridges, because you never know when someone you met 10 years ago is going to come up again, you know. So it's really about showing people that you're reliable, showing them what is more important about you than just your resume. So
thank you. Maria, do you have any advice?
I would say definitely just try to do the best at everything that you do. Even, you know, if you decide, you said your major is in biology. If you do any internships or anything like that, just do the best that you can, because there's always people watching you, and that's ultimately how you're able to build a reputation for yourself. I remember when I graduated, it was actually one of the worst times to find work, because our economy was just not doing well after the September 11 terrorist attack. And I did a few temporary assignments with a staffing agency. And then ultimately, they really liked my work, and they decided to hire me internally to work as a human resource recruiter. And that's kind of what opened the door for me in terms of other opportunities. So just, you know, do the best that you can, try to build good relationship, and, you know, it'll work out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Melanie, what advice could you give?
Like Krista said, the whole networking thing, I'm terrible at it as well. I'm just awkward in lots of big groups talking to random people. That stuff's hard for me. But going to like the career fairs and stuff is helpful, just to get just to see what companies are out there, just to see what your options are. So I would definitely recommend, you know, going to as many of those as you can, just to get an idea as to maybe what you'd like to do. Just talking to the companies to about, you know, what they do and stuff might help you figure out what you ultimately want to do after you graduate. And then internships, I would highly recommend doing those. I know Bucknell doesn't require them, but they are what got me to work. You know, I had an internship all 3 years after freshman, sophomore, junior year, and did it in different industries within like civil engineering, and ended up going construction, but just getting that experience and then building those relationships as well. Even though I didn't end up working for those companies, it was really great to have those people to reach out to, or to for recommendations, referrals, things like that.
Thank you. Rainey, any advice?
Yeah, I think just keeping an open mind about the possibilities, because I know when I was a senior, I felt like I had to have everything figured out. I thought I had to know exactly what I wanted to do. And the reality is just being open to the possibilities of trying new things and changing your mind and moving into different career paths as they open up is totally fine, because that's what most people do. And I think just not being afraid to reach out and ask people for advice, or informational interviews about what is it really like in your job. Because I also thought I had all these plans about maybe I want to be a lawyer or this or that. But then when I actually learned a lot more about what the day-to-day work was like, I realized that probably was not the best fit for me. So I think it's just really keeping an open mind about all the possibilities that are out there, and not being afraid to reach out and ask. Because again, when I was a senior, I knew I was supposed to network, but I had no idea how. And I was kind of scared to. I didn't want to bother people. But the reality is people don't mind. They welcome it, especially reaching out to your Bucknell alumni network. The times I've ran into Bucknell alumni in my professional life, they have just been so excited and eager to help, and they want to help. So don't be afraid to reach out to that. And then I think just also don't be afraid to ask questions. The best employees I've ever had have been the ones who aren't afraid of getting clarification, or asking questions, or they're not worried about seeming like they know everything. They're just eager to learn.
Thank you. I know that's definitely one thing, like whenever I meet a Bucknell alum, like they're definitely not lying when they say like this is probably one of the friendliest and most welcoming alumni networks there are. And Amy, do you have any more advice?
Well, I think everyone took all of my advice. I was like, well, I was going to say that and say that. No, but definitely, piggybacking off of a lot of people, use your network. But also, never stop learning. Always be, the best at your craft, because then you'll be able to, get those promotions, or, at least show that you're still working hard, and that you really love what you do. So don't stop at, graduation. Keep going.
And also, I'm just going to add one more thing. Like, this is super practical, but you can start your LinkedIn profile now, and you can start taking soft skills training and tests now, and you can start getting badges and certificates now before you graduate, which would put you in a place where you're a little bit more competitive than other people you might be graduating with. So you might already be doing that, but I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, that's definitely helpful. I wouldn't have thought to do the whole badges and all that other stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of training and different certificates that you can get in from LinkedIn. And a lot of employers are looking at those soft skills because they want to make sure you're a good, fit for their business culture, et cetera. So you could even start there now before you've graduated.
Yeah, just to second that, most jobs, unless you're in something technical, like engineering or computer science, they teach you on the job. So what you know as a new graduate for a lot of jobs is less important as your willingness to learn and grow and your desire to kind of develop. So it's those soft skills. It's when I hire people who don't have much experience in our entry level, I'm looking for those things that Steph said, those soft skills, those intangibles versus somebody with X number of years experience.
Thank you.
Well, we actually had a track and field career night a couple weeks ago. And it came from, actually an idea came from one of these cross country of the decades from Greg Costello, and he was 03, and Katie Pfeiffer followed up on it. She's an 05 grad. You guys remember her. And so we promoted it to our team and made it kind of a track and field alumni and present team career night. We had 33 alums here of all the different industries. Were any of you on that? I don't think so. But 33 alums came back of different industries, and then we did breakouts, and it was awesome. Great networking. They talked about internships, job hunting, just some advice, career advice, which was awesome. So, and the last question that I have, ladies, this is my 20th year at Bucknell, and I'm now the kind of the old coach at Bucknell. When I started 20 years ago, I was that young guy, and just needed a lot of advice. And now all these young coaches come to me all the time. But I am always looking for advice on how to become a better coach and how to make our team better. And I want to hear your advice on what you can give me, what I can do for Bucknell track and field. We'll start with Rainey.
Oh, gosh. I think the best piece of advice is something that I know firsthand you already do, is just keep supporting your student athletes. And just be that, sometimes you have to be the assertive head coach and crack the whip a bit, but also being that person who can help and problem solve and support your students. I don't know if you remember this, but my senior year, my parents had some financial challenges, and they were broaching the subject with me of maybe you should graduate early in December because you have enough credits. And, the idea of missing the second half of my senior year and missing the entire track season was just horrible. So I remember going into your office and explaining to you, like, I might have to graduate early. And you said, no, you will not. We are not going to let a second semester senior who has been a varsity athlete all 4 years let this happen. And so you picked up the phone and you worked something out with financial aid, and you got my second semester of my senior year covered. And so it's that kind of
envelopes that were slid under my door helped. I'm just kidding.
But that kind of thing is just everything in a coach. Just knowing that you had my back and you were willing to support me, because I wasn't your top athlete by any stretch of the imagination. I was a solid varsity athlete, but I wasn't your superstar. And it meant a lot that you were somebody who you didn't only take care of your top athletes, you took care of everyone. So I think that's just my advice, is just continue that, that kind of, keep that value going.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Melanie, what advice are you going to give me?
Keep doing what you're doing. I'm just continually amazed at the success that you've been able to have with the team. Your recruiting skills are just amazing. The way that you're able to find those people that you see potential in, that that you're able to, and the way that you're able to develop them is just incredible. And just to tag on to what Rainey said, but just like the balance that you show throughout the team. You always promote like the camaraderie, the culture that you've instilled in the team in the last 20 years. You are always supportive, of putting academics first at times. And I have a similar story to Rainey in that my mom died my junior year of college, and I lived, I was from Butler, Pennsylvania, just north of Pittsburgh. It was like a 3.5 hour drive. I went back home for the funeral, the viewing, and then the funeral, and then had no idea. All of a sudden, like, I don't know, 50 of my teammates or more would just stroll into the funeral home, and I just, just couldn't stop crying. Just the the support that you have for everyone, not only on the track but off, is just incredible. So to just continue that, continue to care, about your athletes in that way.
All right, thank you. Got any advice for me?
Did you say my name? Sorry.
Krista, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, same thing. Keep up the good work. It seems the track program keeps getting better and better. I wish I could be there with you guys and work out with you. But yeah, I would say, like I was saying earlier, just encourage people to try to get some rest, mental and physical, whenever they can, when they feel like they could be starting to burn out. So
yeah, we've been
early.
scheduling days off more. We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we plan them out a little bit more than we did back in the day.
I mean, yeah, pandemic now, there's more than enough R&R, but that's all I can think of.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And Maria.
I would have to agree with Mel and Rainey. Continue with the great job that you're doing, and also your support in just helping athletes keep their academic performance on their top priority. And just to continue to please bring in those great athletes that keep us proud on this end now that we're no longer actively competing. And I just get so happy and excited when I go on our website or hear that Bucknell is doing well, and it just makes me proud.
Great. Yeah, we're trying. And Rainey.
Sorry, I think you cut out there. Did you say my name?
Actually, I thought I said Rainey, but maybe I said Amy.
I already went.
Rainey, give me some advice, Rainey.
I already went, Coach.
You already went. Okay. Well, geez, that's my old age. My memory is getting bad. So I guess we got to go with Amy.
That's what you can improve on.
My motor skills, my memory skills. Yeah.
I think I have a unique perspective, just because not only was I an athlete under you, but also a coworker as well. So,
yeah.
But I find myself not only before I worked there, but also after, always, thinking, okay, how would we have done, this at Bucknell? Because again, as everyone has said, if you have such a successful program, not only on the track, but with keeping in touch with all of your alumni and just seeming like it's a family, keeping that together, kind of like our dad. But yeah, the times are changing. Even the conference has changed since you started.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah.
You competed, but you're doing a good job adapting and recruiting the right kids and supporting them. So
yeah, when we added Boston University, that was a game changer, because they came in and, oh my God, you remember that, Amy? They ran us over like a truck that first year.
Yeah.
We're there, and I'm like, I went to my assistants. I'm like, guys, this is going to take about 4 years to catch this team, and it only took one. And we got some great leaders that next year, and we had to make some changes in the program and on how we recruited, how we coached, how we acted, and it took us up another level. So the addition of Boston U really made us a better team. And I thought that was a great addition to the program. So, all right, Steph, last but not least, tell us some advice to me.
Didn't I already do that once?
You remember that? I remember that too.
Well, okay, so I was a senior. So I was a senior your first year, and you came in, I think it was for indoor track season, right?
I was there. I started in August of 01.
Yeah, so you were there the whole year. So I had 3 years of Coach Goulden, and I mean, you had some big shoes to fill, and I gave you a little bit of an initiation, I mean, every new person to Bucknell needs it, right?
Hey, I needed it. Yeah, it was
a heart to heart.
Tough. Yeah, it was tough.
It was good for both of us.
It was a hard first year.
It was good for both of us. But the thing that sticks out to me the most, even as a senior, I mean, I thought I knew everything, right? I'm like over here, like, yeah, I know how to run. But you knew how to coach someone that you didn't have like that history with. Like you were able to come in and coach me, and you were not a man of many words. It was like, okay, let's do this and let's get it done. And you were very matter of fact. And I really appreciated that. Like I love the way that you coach. And so that was awesome for me, as a senior athlete, to have someone who got me so quickly. And I feel like that's a true gift of yours. Like I feel like you can look at a runner, know them for 5 minutes, and you have constructive criticism. Their strengths, their weaknesses, who to pair them with and make great relays, and who to bring in as recruits. And I just really admire that about you. And I also admired the fact that you were able to come in, and you more than any other coach, I have to believe this, because Coach Goulden left such a imprint and legacy on everyone's hearts. I don't think there could have been any other person who followed him except you. You just like took on that Bucknell spirit, but at the same time, you were making the program your own and like creating your own like legacy. And it's just like commendable. So I just would say, just encourage you. Like, you're an awesome coach. Keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, I'm just really happy I got at least 1 year with you.
Hey, it was great too. I really appreciate the history of the program. And I love talking to the alumni. Now I have alumni of my own, but I still love talking to the older alumni that I never coached at all. And so now we're trying to bond it all together. And it's really, I'm very proud to have been a member, coaching at Bucknell. I'm very proud. So it's funny, when I got here 20 years ago, I thought, I'll get 6 years, 7, maybe I'll go to, USC or Oregon or Notre Dame. And I was wrong. I was completely wrong. This is where I want to be. And as long as Todd and his group don't let me go, I'm hoping to stay here another few years. So till I retire. But anyway, ladies, I was looking forward to this one more than any, because it's a special group. We had a lot of success during this decade. Like I said, some of you guys were on my very first team, and some of you were some of my first recruits. And boy, we had a lot of success during that time. And there were a lot of times where we got kicked out a few times too. But the life skills we learn to get back up when you get knocked down, that goes a long way in life. And that's something that happens. And even though, from the outside looking in, we've had a lot of success, but we've had our share of getting kicked down too, so Gianna, knows that. So Gianna, tell us, what advice would you give me?
I
can get even with you tomorrow.
I mean, I'll see you tomorrow, but I'm not making up my workouts anyways. Well, I think the one thing is, when you get to college, sometimes you feel like the little fish in the big pond. And I remember like the first time ever coming into your team meetings, it was the first time as an athlete you feel part of something bigger. And it's no longer running for yourself, you're running for your teammates. And I think if anything, that's the best thing you've ever done for our team throughout these couple of years, because it's like completely shifted my whole perspective on the sport. And it definitely makes every workout a little bit easier. And every time you win, every time you do something good, it just makes it that much better, because it's like everything you do, it's for your teammates. It's no longer for yourself. And I thank you a lot for that, because I didn't have that perspective in high school.
Got it. All right, Todd, it's all you now.
All right, well, thanks, Coach, and I'll wrap it up first with some comments to Gianna. Gianna, thank you so much for spending the time with us tonight and taking that out of your schedule, and congratulations on getting back to the team and the program. I know you probably can't wait to do that, and I know the teams were given the okay to start full practices tomorrow. I know all of our student athletes at Bucknell are looking forward to that. It's been a trying year for sure. We wish you the best of luck with your season and the semester, and thanks again.
Thank you.
And to the alums, ladies, man, I knew, like Coach did, that this was going to be a great group, and it comes shining through with the Spike Shoe program. And you all mentioned it at some point tonight, that it's much bigger than the individual. It's much bigger than any one single team. It's the program, and you guys are such a family. It's clearly evident watching these through the decades shows with each of the different decades for Spike Shoe, how much you appreciated your time in the program, and how much it all means to you, even today, for some of you almost 20 years later. So thank you so much for what you did while you were here at Bucknell, representing the team and the university. And more importantly, thank you for what you've done since you left. Bucknell's track and field program would not be able to have 85 women and 65 men without the support we get from our alumni. And I really, really appreciate that. So thank you. And then for those of you at home tonight that tuned in to watch, thank you for doing so, and go Bison.